We have our velocity camps in full swing right now. I mean, that's kind of all we're focused on as far as our group work goes. We've got 3 of them going. We're going every week, twice a week, and the radar gun is on our girls every single day. So we have some awesome PRs that are coming. We also have some days where we have athletes that are looking at that miles per hour number and it's not the number they want to see. And some of them can get pretty stressed about it and it can almost ruin their day a little bit. That happens with not just the athletes that we've got. I know it happens with girls all over the place, whether it's at a showcase or someone's got a radar gun on them in a game or just a lesson type thing, just seeing where you're at. So I thought today would be a really good day to kind of talk about when I use a radar gun in a lesson or a camp or whatever that looks like, why I use it, and what to do when you're seeing those red flags in an athlete. Like they're not seeing the number that they want, they're getting really frustrated, and it's almost like to that red zone where there's no coming back from that, at least that day. It happens all the time, and we have to learn how to handle that. So we're gonna talk about that stuff right now. When do I like to use the radar gun? I love to use it as a baseline, just kind of like a starter. So every time I get a new lesson or a new kiddo, new athlete, maybe it's just a one-time thing like an evaluation type deal, we're absolutely getting numbers on all of your pitches. If I have a newbie athlete, we're younger, I want to know where you start. It's fun to see yourself get better. Now, am I going to have the radar gun out every single lesson? No, absolutely not, especially not for a younger athlete. Even my older girls, we don't need it out every single time, but we do need to have check-ins and just see where our improvements are, see where we're getting better. It's fun to kind of use it, especially with an older athlete that knows her body a little bit better, in conjunction with specific mechanics. So we're purposeful with one certain area or one certain piece of the pitch, and we see if that helps us jump a little bit. And then we see if we can be consistent with that certain part of the pitch as well. So it's really, really helpful. It's also just a good carrot to kind of keep the athlete going. When they see that number go up, they want to keep working and they're getting it, that this stuff is working for me. So it's super helpful in that sense. If I have an older athlete and we're working on changing speeds, I have to know the difference in speeds. I've got to know, is your off speed more of a medium speed? Is your change up in that 10 mile an hour range, 8 to 10 mile an hour range or so, away from your fast moving pitches? So yeah, I'm going to keep that on you. And are they consistent? Or are we sometimes throwing a change up that's only like 3 miles an hour slower? It happens all the time. I tell all my girls, never judge your speed by your eye, because you'll be shocked at what you see. It's not always what you think it is. We want a number on that. We want information on that. The other time, of course, is when we run our velocity camps. I mean, that's what the whole camp is about. So yes, every single session during those camps, I have the radar gun on you. That's the point, right? I see that though as like a football team on max day where they're all gathered around one guy and they're just like, yeah, I want our girls pumped and excited and in every single attempt, no matter whose turn it is. It's fun. It's fun. And that adrenaline and that group kind of power really works and really makes our camps exciting. That radar reading is information for us. It's super helpful. It's a measuring stick of where you're at, of your progress. Now, it's not so helpful if you have an athlete that's not yet able to understand that number in a helpful way, which again is really common. That's probably one of the red flags. I know that's why I hear instructors and coaches say, look, put the radar gun away, don't show it to her. I never use it in lessons. It's not helpful. It is helpful. It is. And the other side of that coin is that that athlete is going to be around radar guns all the time. I mean, everybody's got one. You go to a tournament and there's one behind the backstop on every single game, on every single field, at almost every single age level now. You can't get away from it. So if I'm not addressing in a lesson how to effectively read one, how to not take it personal, how to get past that barrier, that mental barrier, if you want to call it that, I'm not helping my athlete 100%. I'm leaving a lot out, right? If I'm never showing you a radar gun and then I'm like, okay, go, good luck, and we see one in a game and we freak out or we get nervous about it, I'm not fully preparing you. So, red flags. When you see athletes that are literally like, no, don't show it to me. I don't want to know the number. I don't want to see it. That's a red flag. And when you see athletes that want to see their number or their outcome, and then they get so upset that they're in their head or they're checking out or they leave in tears, that's a red flag for sure. With those athletes, you may not pull it out right away. You may need to really prep them and talk to them about it. It is a skill to be able to read your numbers and your outcomes. So I'm also including statistics, batting averages, ERA, all those numbers that I know some coaches literally have printouts and will give those to the girls post-game. 10U girls, 12U girls. That is something that you need to be aware of if you're doing that. You've got to make sure that your girls and your athletes understand how to look at that in a helpful way, because I promise you the only thing they're looking at is who's the best and who's last on that list. And if it's me, devastating for me if I'm a young teenage girl or 12U, 10U player. So it's very, very important to be in tune with your athletes on how they're reading their numbers. And in this case today, we're talking about miles per hour, which is another outcome, right? Numbers are not permanent. They can move. They can move up, they can move down. It's a growth mindset that we have to take. A lot of young athletes, specifically pitchers, have this mindset that they should have it all, that I need to be the best all the time. And if I'm not, I'm a failure. That's perfectionism thinking at its finest. It's also all or nothing thinking, black and white thinking. And that just doesn't happen in life, in softball, anywhere. So if you're a coach or an instructor that says, oh, we won't ever use the radar gun because it makes her nervous, you're just reiterating that all or nothing thinking. So, to review, make sure your athletes that struggle with looking at that miles per hour number have a growth mindset. They're never going to have it all figured out. They do not have pitching mastered. I mean, my gosh, the USA Olympic athletes on the national team do not have it all figured out. They're always trying to find ways to get better, to throw harder. Where can I improve? So make sure you're talking to your athlete about that in every area, batting average, wins, losses, record. We have to kind of look at it in that way. You're not perfect. Don't help them continue thinking in that black and white way. So if you have an athlete that struggles with the radar gun, maybe not every single lesson. I wouldn't say that about anybody necessarily, unless we're in a camp, right? And that's only for a very short amount of time. But we need to prep and say, okay, 2 weeks from now, we're going to clock you. Let's get prepared for that mentally. We have to be able to handle that and manage that. It's easy when you see a number you like and you hit a PR, and that's awesome. That's great. When you see a number that you don't like, how do we respond? We got to look at that. It's a learning opportunity. And I'm hungry for those as a coach and an instructor. I always tell my girls, I'm like, when you have days that are not your favorite, those are my favorite days, because those are full of learning opportunities and places that I can help you be better. So growth mindset, teach, teach, teach. When you get a number that you don't like, talk to your athlete about what are they going to do about it. You can be mad about it for a little bit, sure, but don't dwell on it. Don't go home thinking, I'm terrible at pitching. Nothing I'm doing is working. I'm working so hard and it's not making me better. That's not true. First of all, there are ups and downs with our body, just like we have with our brain, with our moods, with our emotions. So there are going to be days where you give it everything you have and you're not going to hit that PR. You might come close, but you're just not there. Things aren't clicking, things aren't moving. We have games like that where our stuff just isn't working like we want it to. So we go with what we got and we do the best we can that day. And then we go home and we reassess how we're going to work in the next week or two to be better when it's game time again. We don't take it personal. We don't pout about it. What are you going to do about it? Help your athletes think in that do mindset, action mindset. Get out of their head. Don't dwell on it. That's not helpful. If it's not helpful, we don't do it. Don't be an enabler. Don't enable your pitcher to believe that they're here as far as speed goes, and once the radar gun comes out, they're actually here, whatever that looks like. I mean, I see it all the time. Delusional pitchers, delusional parents, sometimes delusional coaches. I hate to say it. I'm saying it in the nicest way possible, but that's what it is. I see girls come to me all the time, and I'll ask them, like, what's your top speed? Oh, 59, 60. I hit 60 usually. And then we pull out the radar gun. We're not even close to that. Not even close. Don't create delusional pitchers. Help them be real. Help them learn how to look at numbers as facts with no emotions tied to it. And then decide how you're going to work to change that number if you don't like it, or keep improving. I mean, that's the thing with velocity and speed. It's never enough. Never. Everyone's always working to be better at that. You got to remember that too. I mean, I've asked some girls, I'm like, what number would make you happy today? What number? And it's really hard for them to answer because they know whatever the number is, they still want more. That's kind of the fun part, and it can also kind of make you crazy. So look at those opportunities, guys. I don't run away from those, especially I'm talking more to coaches and instructors here. Use those as teaching opportunities. That's mental game stuff. That all ties into it. If you've got a pitcher that really struggles with seeing the number and accepting the number, they probably have a hard time accepting when a double is hit off of them. How do you turn around and respond to that? There's so much more than meets the eye that's going on. So let me know how I can help. This is my jam. That's why we're called Be Complete, because we're always coaching the mental side too. I'm a mental health therapist as well, so I love this stuff. Love it. That's what's underneath the softball. That's what I like to do. So again, let me know how I can help. Check us out. Check out our website. We're going to have a mental skills online course coming soon. I'm so excited. So if you are interested, let me know, and I'll talk to you soon.